During the assault, I thought about using my firearm on my attackers, but I knew that if I did, I would be quickly overwhelmed. And that in their minds would provide them with the justification for killing me. So I instead decided to appeal to any humanity they might have. I said as loud as I could manage, "I've got kids."
So that is Michael Fanone that you were hearing right there, one of the Capitol police officers whose body cam footage from January 6th had some of the toughest to watch, toughest to digest footage from that day of him being surrounded by Trump fans who were doing everything they could to murder him. Some assisting him, thankfully, but many attempting to kill him. He thought about using deadly force, decided not to. Obviously, we're glad for that. Cops generally are too eager to do it. In this case, I think that his thought process was probably true. If he'd begun firing, I believe that they would have killed him, whether with the gun or otherwise. I think that that would have led to more widespread violence, not just where he was at, but potentially rippling through the crowd. So we're gonna have more of Michael Fanone, but Jason, what'd you think about that start for you?
John, first of all, I couldn't agree with you more that him opening fire inside. I mean, this was the last time we saw this video on the damage report. I got really emotional because, yeah, as he said, as John just said in his testimony, I have children. It's a lot to digest, right? Secondly, yeah, agreeing with you 100%. Had he opened fire, more loss of life would have happened. Then another conversation of police brutality would have been ushered in a different way. It wouldn't have been police brutality against people of color. It would have been some other spun dramatic event of police brutality that would have not ended. It just would have been really bad, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I think that had I been in that situation, I always try to put myself in the shoes of someone in any misfortunate situation. He had to act fast, act quick, and also save his life. And hats off to him, right? I mean, what else do you do in that situation but try to protect yourself, but also use the training and enacted training that that has been imbued upon you to do your job. It's crazy. And the trauma he's reliving again, right? So it's when you experience it, that's one traumatic event. You're put on the stand, you have to relive that all over again and be very clear and concise and to the point of what happened to you. That's also gotta be painful, not only for him, but you mentioned rippling effects for his family and everyone else that's close to him that could have possibly lost this man.
Exactly, yeah. Now, I wanna give you a little bit more of him talking about what was happening, in particular, them trying to take his gun and him believing to kill him with it.
Some in the crowd stepped in and assisted me. Those few individuals protected me from a crowd and inched me toward the Capitol until my fellow officers could rescue me. I was carried back inside. What happened afterwards is much less vivid. I had been beaten unconscious and remained so for more than 4 minutes. I know that Jimmy helped to evacuate me from the building and drove me to MedStar Washington Hospital Center, despite suffering significant injuries himself.
Okay, so I apologize. I was thinking of a different video, but there he does begin the talk about his injuries, including that he had a heart attack, he had a concussion, a traumatic brain injury, and PTSD. In a little bit, we're gonna be giving you some of the response from right wingers who are watching that. So I just want you to bear in mind how badly he was beaten by the MAGA crowd there before we get to that. But that said, let's go to just a little bit more of Michael Fanone, and Jason and I will give you our thoughts.
What makes the struggle harder and more painful is to know so many of my fellow citizens, including so many of the people I put my life at risk to defend, are downplaying or outright denying what happened. I feel like I went to hell and back to protect them and the people in this room. But too many are now telling me that hell doesn't exist or that hell actually wasn't that bad. The indifference shown to my colleagues is disgraceful. My law enforcement career prepared me to cope with some of the aspects of this experience. Being an officer, you know your life is at risk whenever you walk out the door, even if you don't expect otherwise law-abiding citizens to take up arms against you. But nothing, truly nothing, has prepared me to address those elected members of our government who continue to deny the events of that day, and in doing so, betray their oath of office.
And they've been doing it since the event, or to be clear, some of them immediately after the event seemed to get what was going on and were clearly worried about backlash from the electorate. I mean, even Kevin McCarthy had said that Trump was responsible for this. But then they collected themselves, they looked out their right-wing media and at the MAGA base and realized, oh no, wait, they're cool with this. They're gonna run with it. They're fine with it, so now we're fine with it. And so as Michael Fanone was saying, Jason, they have spent all the time up until now, including today, denying that it's serious, that it's something you should worry about. Nothing should be done. It doesn't reflect badly on anyone except, I don't know, maybe Antifa or something.
Well, I mean, folks, so visually and audibly listening to Michael's testimony, it's indicative of the treachery that has that. And again, people always come at me for entering color into the situation, but marginalized groups of people have been talking about this treachery that's been happening for years, right? We protect veterans, people who serve our countries, do their jobs, protect everyone, regardless of their intentions. And yet, here's Michael Fanone, who was doing his job and was attacked by the same people that he was sworn to protect. And the face of who's saying this is a cisgender white male, right? This is like the holy grail of existence in our country. And he's saying, smacking his hand on the table, you all betrayed me, right? You all tried to kill me. John, he mentioned, and then you also mentioned that he had PTSD, a heart attack, a concussion, almost died, right? All of those things could have ended his life, and all those things are going to add to the continuous PTSD that he's going to experience from now, probably for the rest of his life. So I think it's a very cautionary tale to all of these people who are on that right base that, as you said, they collected themselves and realized, no, we got to fall back in line. We got to get information because we don't want our well-being to be affected. This is a cautionary tale that, there is no loyalty here, regardless, and not to mitigate or minimize what he experienced, not at all. I'm just drawing a parallel as to the two-faced nature of these people that are saying, hey, the insurrection on January 6th didn't happen. No, homeboy, it did happen. And one of your own, if you will, is saying, I'm a victim of that. Wake up, get it together. I am the face of that. And I'm not a dark face. I'm not a brown face. I am a white face.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. The testimony is powerful to the extent that people see it. It should be powerful. And supposedly, at least at the beginning, Fox was actually showing what was going on. OAN wasn't. I don't know about Newsmax. We'll see if they stuck with it throughout, because there's other cops that came up, and we're going to show you some of their video. But that is powerful. But then, I don't even think we need, what he said was great. But just seeing the body cam footage, I think tells the story pretty well, but oh wait, I guess not, because that's been out for months and it didn't convince anyone of anything. It's just like, it's the final nail in the coffin of, well, God, if we only had video, it would convince people. I mean, since when has body cam footage convinced supporters of cops anything? In this case, they're against the cops. And again, it's not convenient. We don't like what's on the video, so we're gonna pretend it's not there. That is no way to go through your life. Just because something is inconvenient, you can't just run from it, except tens of millions of Americans are currently doing that. So another reason why this testimony is important, and I don't know Michael Fanone, I don't know anything about his politics. All I know is that he is saying what happened to him, and I am hoping that people won't be able to deny it.
Right, I mean, he has no reason to lie. And what if your question was, okay, the holy grail of receipts, if you will, and the holy grail of proof is video, right? It's footage. The camera doesn't lie. It's what else do we need? Do we need TikTok, a TikTok challenge? Do we need billboards plastered everywhere? Do we need a meme on social media? Do we need YouTube videos? Like, what is it gonna take for people to believe this? Because anyone watching this, like John, I consider myself a very balanced and not an emotional person. I'm not moved a lot with things. I'm very, very methodical with stuff. When I heard that video and saw that video, you guys were here, you guys watching, I was moved to tears by that. That was so visceral. Any human being watching that, any politician.
Get ready.
Yeah, it's
get ready, because we got some more, man. It's gonna get rough.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.